Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the most influential and endearing examples of British police procedurals.
You go ahead.
Number 10. The Bill.
When was he first arrested? In the 50s?
Yeah. But when he did a runner in those days, you had to be Linford Christie to keep up with him.
Many popular cop shows of the 1970s focused their stories upon one standout protagonist, a la Kojak or Columbo. British police procedurals were often a different breed, however, as evidenced by the enduring success and legacy of The Bill.
Sierra Oscar from 54, lost in the last 30 seconds, suspect for murder, Ryan Jones.
The show ran for over 25 years and spread out its narrative storytelling by allowing for protagonists from all across the law enforcement gamut. Plainclothes detectives and humble beat cops alike could serve as the crux of a story on The Bill, and the show, as a result, cast a wider creative net with its output. This creativity assisted The Bill in transcending generations as well, making it an important cornerstone of UK crime drama.
As you consider yourself very lucky, this is gonna go no further.
Number 9. Taget.
Must have come as quite a shock.
I suppose you're used to it. The police don't see life or death, only offences.
It speaks volumes that the Scottish crime show Taget was popular enough to continue after the actor who portrayed the lead role, Mark McManus, died in 1994. The show never dropped nor changed its title either, with Taget running for over 15 years after McManus's death. Of course, it helps that Detective Chief Inspector John Taget was one part of an ensemble cast, a group that could help carry the creative weight of the show's drama.
Might as well put the whole of Glasgow under surveillance. Oh, I would like to, sir.
This was grounded and realistic procedural television, one that focused just as much on the characters' relationships with each other as it did the criminals they were seeking to stop.
Did you ever read Alice in Wonderland, Peter? Curiouser and curiouser. In the end, it was a nightmare.
Number 8. Luther.
Come on! Why?
Elements of both the suspense and thriller genres often find their way into the complex narratives of our next series, Luther. This UK procedural saw Idris Elba putting in a fine performance as the title character, a copper who possesses the unique distinction of being romantically involved with a murderer, played by Ruth Wilson.
All right, you win, okay? You're too clever for me, Alice.
Flattery to appease a malignant narcissist, that's a frivolous tactic.
This isn't the only series arc within Luther, but it is one of the most interesting, as well as one to which fans particularly connected. Elsewhere, Elba's natural good looks and masculinity helped fuel the action set pieces of Luther, making it a program that could easily balance both the visceral and intellectual.
Is that your defense? Because that was my mate. We set you up, Lucian.
Number 7. Midsummer Murders. It's one of the most popular and enduring British crime series, full stop, as well as one that's earned a cult following overseas in America. It's Midsummer Murders, a show that excellently melds the dark business of murder with frequently absurd and often dark moments of comedy.
On my desk, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
This deviation in tone is perhaps one of the reasons why Midsummer Murders has earned fans from so many different walks of life, despite its quintessential Britishness. The settings of smaller towns and villages give the show a more lived-in feel, away from the occasional cold setting of the big city. Elsewhere, the warm performances of its leads and co-stars helps make Midsummer Murders a show that connects with its audiences and connects well.
Looks like a recipe book. Some pages have been torn out.
Number 6. Line of Duty.
Good to go.
Line of Duty is another British crime series that received both critical and fan acclaim during its run. This was despite the show's export not achieving the levels of, say, a Midsummer Murders, which currently airs on public television in the United States. The reasons behind this are multiple, from the outstanding cast of actors that have graced the show's ranks to the compelling storylines crafted by the writing staff.
And anything that you do say may be given in evidence.
Line of Duty could have easily become another faceless procedural were it not for unique creative pivots such as switching out leads between series. Elsewhere, the show's infamously tense interrogation sequences feel delivered in real time, seriously increasing both the stakes and excitement for each episode of Line of Duty.
Alright.
Number 5. Vera.
He was found in the river.
Good grief.
The aforementioned halcyon decade of idiosyncratic 1970s detectives lives on within the spirit of Vera. We're speaking specifically of lead Brenda Blethyn's performance, a quirky and charming one that leans into her character, Detective Chief Inspector Vera Stanhope's meticulous obsessions. This is a character who has seen and done a lot over the course of her career, and is nearing retirement.
And the body?
In the water.
As a result, Vera is both capable of getting things done, while also cautious enough to stop and take a second to look at things on the ground. This approach may differ wildly to the all-guns-blazing approach of old-school police stories, but it makes Vera all the more unique in its execution.
There you go.
Number 4. Happy Valley.
So, pens left on this grave, Granny.
There's nothing hokey or predictable about the somewhat controversial UK police series Happy Valley. This is a show steeped in trauma, violence, and aftermath of what can only be described as a truly horrific act. Happy Valley is a female-focused show, particularly when it comes to its lead protagonist, Police Sergeant Catherine Kaywood, and her work-life balance.
Am I overreacting?
They tried to kill you, Catherine. You're not overreacting.
The show never shied away from displaying the uglier side of life, but the quality level of performances here keep Happy Valley from feeling mean-spirited or exploitative. Instead, the end results are gripping and can appeal to a wide variety of audiences.
So what are you going to do? Mess my record up before I've even started.
Number 3. Pirro and Marble.
Ah, Poirot, there you are. Sorry to keep you waiting.
We just had to go with a dual entry this time, only because we couldn't possibly choose between two of Agatha Christie's most famous fictional detectives. Poirot may have debuted first, but we'd argue that its sister series, Marble, has become as popular as its predecessor.
Another perfect day in paradise. Oh, indeed.
Both series bring to life Christie's creations in a manner that feels appropriate and with a lot of respect. Meanwhile, the scripts serve as Mystery Writing 101 and are usually ripped from Christie's own stories starring the famous detectives.
Wait. 2 deaths, but neither of them were acts of murder.
Both Poirot and Marble are old-school procedural programming at its finest, and exist as must-watches for anyone remotely interested in the genre.
I think we found our murderer, Inspector. Oh.
Number 2. Inspector Morse.
I think uncle is a slight exaggeration, but we have met. Chief Inspector Morse.
John Thor was no stranger to portraying iconic television police detectives, but Inspector Morse proved that he was just as good at it in the 1980s as he was in the 70s. This show ran for over 20 years as well, with Thor's imitable personality and charisma leading the charge.
You're probably not aware that Neville Grimshaw was found dead this morning.
The titular Inspector Morse was a far cry from the two-fisted performances Thor gave us as a young man, however, with this series focusing more upon the policeman's intellect and unique abilities to connect disparate evidentiary dots to solve a crime.
Never talked to a copper, Harry said.
Does it matter now? 3 men dead, 3 widows, and poor Yvonne.
In fact, Inspector Morse serves as a wonderful companion to our number 1 pick. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 1. The Sweeney.
I'm a DI and you're a sergeant, right?
For your information, if you want to talk to a senior officer, you go through your governor. Got it?
John Thor returns again with a role that arguably helped define his career. Thor portrayed Detective Inspector Jack Reagan, who, along with his partner Detective Sergeant George Carter, were the Sweeney. This pair served as Britain's hardest hitting and hardest drinking coppers on the force, a dynamo with catchphrases for days and the determination to catch the bad guys.
You can do better than that.
The Sweeney was somewhat notorious during its day for its levels of on-screen violence, not to mention its unique position of presenting flawed and morally flexible protagonists. Elsewhere, the series' usage of funky and menacing library music from Britain's enviable libraries of composers ensured that the Sweeney would live on as a time capsule of 1970s cop show excellence.
Come on, I'll buy you a drink.
What do you think is the best British crime show? Let us know in those comments below.
People always know, but are sometimes reluctant to admit it.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojoUK and subscribe for more great content.